Welcome to a special edition of Sokukoji Saturday. Today we're hosting our all-day meditation here at the monastery, and we've got a couple dozen people here that have been meditating all day, and we're now looking forward to Sokuzan's talk. But as we're continuing with our theme... Do I really sound like that? Before we get started with Sokuzan's talk, we're going to continue with our theme of fundraising, and I'm running out of things to say, and luckily we'll be done next Wednesday, but you can continue to give money throughout the year. It goes towards a good cause. If you would like something in return, we do sell a few different things on our website, the first of which is Sokuzan's meditation primer, and it was so good that we printed a few of them. We've got lots of them. You can buy as many as you'd like. One of our residents here has bought a few dozen. But the nice thing about the book is it's just a compilation of Sokuzan's meditation instructions. So if you're just getting into meditation or you're looking for some support at home, there's 17 short meditation instructions that will talk you through shikantaza. We often read them before we start sitting here. And there's also 2 talks transcribed in the back called Meditation Doesn't Work. So hopefully that seduces you. If that does not, this is a print of, a little closer, Sokuzan's 6 realms. And for those of you that don't know, Sokuzan spent time studying at the Chicago Institute of Art and continues to make art here. And this is a watercolor depicting the 6 realms, so it's very beautiful, intricate, and it does not come framed, but we have those for $150 on the website. And then lastly, and most recently, was this is the Paradise of Maitreya, which is a zoomed-in portion of a mural, and I wish I could remember which one, but it is depicting a head-shaving ceremony for a monk. So we're selling that for $250 on the website, and again, a limited print from Sokuzan's original, which is hanging in one of our buildings here. So we just would like to continue to thank you for your support, and bye, Aida. Anything you can offer is greatly appreciated, and still very moved by the continued support from those of you that we've never met before. We've seen donations coming in from all over the country, and it means a great deal to us to continue to support others, support the space, and support the practice. So if you're interested in making a donation, you can do so on our website at sokukoji.org, and you can do that either through PayPal or with a credit card, or you can send checks to Sokukoji Buddhist Community, 33 Anderson Court, Battle Creek, Michigan, 49017, and on the website you are also able to make recurring monthly donations, which we've had a few that those go a long way in just meeting our basic mortgage and supplies and that kind of stuff. So I will stop talking, and Sokuzan will be in just a minute to give his Dharma talk, and thank you again.
Not being found. It's a very simple teaching that is very profound, and you can contemplate this for the rest of your life, or for 3 years. 3 minutes might work. The constant state of not being found, of how it appears, in that which appears, is fulfilled, or is ultimate understanding. This is just a way of talking about the three natures of Paratantra, the dependently arisen, everything that you see before you think about it, everything you see before you add to it, everything you see before you imagine some particular quality or aspect or separate part of it. Excuse me. Paratantra, the dependently arisen, Parakalpita, your imagined idea about it, and then Paranishpana, or what it actually is, or the fulfilled, or the perfected nature. This shows up in several texts, the Lankavatara Sutra, the Samdhi Nirmachana Sutra, and where else is it? It's all over the place. It's not in Mad Magazine. At least I haven't found it in there. So not being found, what is it that's not being found? Is your opinions, your ideas, your definition, your prescription, the extra part. The observer isn't found, the observed isn't found. What's found? Find out. I don't know. The constant state, it's an interesting way to say it, the constant state of not being found, of how, or the way in which it appears, of that which appears. Can you paraphrase that? Can you paraphrase that? Robert, can you paraphrase that?
I don't know.
Perfect.
Whoops.
So what is being addressed, may be obvious to you, maybe not so obvious, is to help each of us through this kind of a teaching to see the way we're constantly looking at objects, looking at the subject that's looking at the object, looking at the movement that's going from the subject to the object and back to the subject. So you could say there's kind of three different dynamics that are going on: the objectification of things, the subjectification of things, and the various movements that are happening. And this is what His Holiness the 16th Karmapa said when just before he entered his parinirvana in 1981 in Chicago, or near Chicago. Nothing happens. There isn't any movement. Nothing happens. At least, or at most, that's what it looks like, he was saying, as I reflect on it over the last close to 40 years. Nothing occurs. Is there occurrence? Of course there's occurrence, but it's not separate from the ultimate situation. It doesn't separate itself out as some kind of value other than, a value besides. It's interesting that we can see everything as being separated at the same time we see that it is ultimate. What does Vasubandhu have to say about that?
The whole verse.
Yeah, give me the whole 30 verses.
No, it's not in that one is in the three natures. Tri-Svabhava.
I know.
The third one.
You think I don't know that?
I knew somebody who said that.
Huh? Who said that?
I don't know.
Was it Bhaskar? Bhaskar said it in Sanskrit. Doesn't Bhaskar have the 30 verses? Yeah, has it memorized in
But this
Sanskrit.
verse is
Go ahead.
the constant state of not being found, of how it appears, and that which appears can be known as the fulfilled own being because of its state of non-otherness.
It's not too bad. What does it mean? Didn't Vasubandhu say what it meant?
He just did.
Well, good smart.
Well, you could read the rest of the 40 verses.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what is the perfected nature that is not a self?
I think it's a way of using very relative terms to point to the ultimate nature.
I've been trying to understand the perfected nature in the context of like the Shentong school saying that it's not complete emptiness, that the perfected nature is an underlying substrate of everything. And what is...
Does it say it's underlying?
No, they don't use that phrasing. And I don't know how to say it, but they're not saying that there's no self in the sense that there's nothing whatsoever. And I'm wondering what it is that can have that type of permanence without having characteristic or identity.
I think what we run into is the limitation of concepts and ideas and so on, and it just makes it hard. So those who have some kind of insight into this don't really make claims about it so much, because the very nature of a claim is to abandon any insight, to leave the insight for some kind of statement about it. So it's just ways of talking about it. The Shentong and the Rangtong, or the self-empty, other empty, don't really disagree so much as they point to it in a different way. Unless if someone doesn't understand that, they might use that teaching to argue about it. But if you understand it, then it's just another way of talking about it. Go ahead.
What's the best way to work with the three own beings in our practice?
I think it is, my idea would be to try to understand Paratantra, the dependent origination, rather than search for, so the Eightfold Mahayana Puja should include rebooting.
For you it does.
It does?
Yeah.
Is it ready? So we can continue to talk about that. Go back to the maintenance part, because you seem to be saying, how do we...
No, it wasn't a maintenance. It wasn't a maintenance. It's that we don't even know that we have. There's not even awareness that we've locked onto the way things are.
Mm-hmm. Emphasis on following the form and not enough emphasis on observing the form. Observing the form means that you don't have to follow it, you just have to be aware of the form. So sometimes you're close to what the form is set up as, and